for the next keynote session, last but not the least, we have the founding partner of Xeo Marketing and Strategic Consultancy, Monali Supramanyam. Now, she is a visionary leader, AI influencer, tech marketing expert, mentor with multi-segment expertise in formulating product marketing strategies. And today, she's going to talk about lead gen for MSPs in 2021. Over to you, Monali.
Thank you, Akansha. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being a part of this event today. As some of you may know, and as Akansha mentioned, I'm Monali. I'm one of the founding partners of Xeo, and I'm very excited to host this event for this year. It was very tough because given the virtual scenario, but I'm really happy to see that you have continued your love and support for our event, and you've actually made this event a bigger success than what we were expecting. So thank you again for all of that. And I would like to also take this chance and opportunity to thank my sponsors, thank all the sponsors for being a very prevalent part in this event for us. Moving on, I'm very excited to bring to you this workshop today because I'm going to address one of the two questions that are most asked in the history of the world. The first question, of course, is where is Waldo? And I'm going to actually answer the second question for you. This is the question that is often asked by MSPs when they meet us for the very first time. It's a question that often seems to pop up when you go online, when you see through various communities and blogs. This question, even when we are browsing through various social media groups, this is a question that most MSPs and telecom resellers and consultants, cybersecurity consultants often want to ask us. And the question really is, what are the most effective lead generation strategies for your business? MSPs and resellers often talk about how they've tried various methods on Google, Google Ads, to content marketing, to billboards. And I'm talking about various channel partners, channel partners of various sizes. So you have small business channel partners, you have enterprise level channel partners, but in the end of the day, it's all about generating revenue for them. And they all have the same question. And the question is, what is the most effective lead gen strategy? So in my workshop today, I'm going to share with you the strategies that we ourselves are using as a marketing company to help our clients drive growth successfully over the past few years. You can actually use this event as an example. We started this event 5 years ago and we had 40 attendants. And I have to mention, I had some great supporters at that time from the sponsorship perspective, but we have continued to grow to a level where we have over 1,200 registrations for this particular event. And right now I can see about 750 active participants of this event. So this is great result. And we have been able to do this because we are consistently applying the same marketing strategies that we apply for our partners, for our customers, and we are continuing to drive success with it. We've tested everything from social media marketing to content marketing to radio and billboard ads. And we have baked what I would call as, let's just call it the holy grail, or we've actually put together the formula that we know will work. But the biggest challenge over here is not the question. The question over here, what you really want to be asking is, what are the most effective lead gen strategies for your MSP business? Because what you bring to the table and what the value, the reason why your customers buy from you, the value proposition that you deliver to your customer should be unique to you. And if it is not, then maybe we should have a separate conversation altogether. However, the fact is that your MSP business has its unique selling proposition, and what you offer to your customer is unique to you. So as a result, the lead generation strategies should be very specific to your business, to the customers or clients you're trying to cater to. If you're catering to a small business, that's obviously the lead generation strategies you'll develop is going to be very different than if you're an enterprise level MSP and you're trying to drive business from an enterprise level clientele. So in this presentation together, we are going to first just uncover the type of target audience you can work with. And then we're going to go through the most effective lead gen methods depending on your target audience or your target segment. We'll talk briefly about the best channels for lead gen. And then we'll talk about the must-have marketing collaterals. I may skip this part given the time frame here. And finally, we will talk about how to calculate the lead gen budget and what is the measure of success for any campaigns that you're running. This is pretty important as well, because I hear a lot of things from a lot of partners. I'm talking about channel partners, and they talk about, okay, how do I know that I'm spending the right amount of budget for driving the right kind of lead? So I'm going to cover this topic briefly, just so you have a general sense of how do you, like a benchmark of how do you actually measure against that. So let's start by defining what kind of audience you want to attract or target. So based on your target audience, I'm going to give you the things that I just mentioned. Are you catering, are you catering to micro and small local businesses? Are you one of those MSPs who has, let's say, 1 to 7 employees? Everything from selling to a client, to provisioning, to deployment, to post-sales customer care. If you are, then the chances are that you need strategies that are quick to implement and do not consume a lot of your time as well as a lot of your budget. Now, are you someone who is catering to mid-sized regional businesses? Are you looking to drive businesses from regional? Are you trying to drive your revenue growth from regional businesses, businesses that are looking for a little bit more from their technology partner than just a break fix or just a one-time resale type solution? They're looking at you to provide them certain leadership, certain thought leadership into helping them decide what technology they want, and they depend on you to suggest or recommend to them what would be most efficient for their business. So if you're looking to drive those kind of businesses and you are what we would call as a mid-size MSP with anywhere between 8 to 50 employees, then your strategies would be slightly different than what we would recommend for micro or small local businesses. And finally, we have our enterprise, cross-country enterprise level businesses. If you are an enterprise MSP, you're looking to target enterprise level clients, you're looking to target big companies, and you are what we would call as their trusted technology partner, your consultants to them, your system integrators, system operators that are working with them to integrate the entire end-to-end business. The strategies you apply would be, and what we would recommend that you can work with would be extremely different than what we would recommend for any small, micro, small, or even mid-sized MSPs. Now, if you're a micro or small local business, there are a lot of local sources, like free sources, that you can use to drive leads. One of the things that comes most to mind is social. Oh, and just one more thing, because we are in a lockdown scenario, a lot of the strategies that I'm recommending right now, in fact, all of the strategies that I'm recommending right now, I'm trying to focus on what you can work on in today's scenario, in a lockdown remote working environment. So we all know that going to conferences is a great idea. You can actually have one-on-one meetings. You can meet with people, shake hands, sit down over a cup of coffee, and boom, you actually have a good qualified lead. But that is not going to happen right now. And we don't know. This is an indefinite scenario. We don't know how long this is going to last. So the recommendations I'm making today for you is based purely on if you are in a remote working environment, what would be the strategies? What would be the strategies that will be most effective for you? So in a small business world, I would strongly recommend social media marketing as a strong lead gen source. Why social media marketing? Very simple. Facebook has over 18 billion users. LinkedIn has over 500 million businesses. Between the top two platforms, social media platforms, you have a huge addressable market. And the best part of it is you can actually go in there, if you understand how to target your segment, you can go in there and you can find your very specific targetable audience and connect with them on a one-on-one basis. With or without pandemic, I cannot recommend something that is more effective than social media marketing today. However, with the lockdown, here's another very interesting stats for you. This was a report that was published by New York Times about a few months ago. And according to them, the social media average usage of social media in North America has gone up by 72%. And the average posts have increased by 43%. Indication of how popular social media is today, then I'll probably fail for words to express it. How do you actually look at social media? What is the most effective social media channels for B2B market sales today? We would start with LinkedIn. You need to create one of the things that you can do. LinkedIn, of course, like I said, has 500 million businesses. And I strongly recommend LinkedIn for small businesses, especially if you're actually looking to have an online presence. If you are right now on LinkedIn, if you're not present on LinkedIn, then you need to go over there and create a profile. If you have your own personal profile and you do not have a company page, then I would strongly recommend that this is the right time to actually create the digital presence or social media presence that your company requires, and to leverage that to promote your company and your brand. For small businesses, one of the things I should tell you is your personal profile is just as important as your company LinkedIn page. I think in my last presentation, I did talk about how to create and how to optimize your company LinkedIn page, and it's there on our website if you want to go and check it out. So today I want to talk a little bit more about how to create a LinkedIn profile, because like I said, your LinkedIn profile is synonymous to your company. If you're a small business, when people are looking you up, they are looking at you. You are your own brand, so they are looking at you as well. So create a LinkedIn profile and then optimize it for the best response. What are some of the things you can do? And I'm going to skim over a lot of these things, but you can actually head out to our booth and take a step-by-step guide on how you can create a LinkedIn profile or a LinkedIn company page, or even you can blog, and you will be able to download some of this content that you can utilize later. But I'm going to talk about some of the tips that I can present during this half an hour that I have with you today. One of the things that you can do is use the space that the LinkedIn page provides to you. Think of it as the real estate space that has been given to you and make most of it. You have the header section over here, the first section over here. This is the header image, header content that you can actually use. How can you actually use that? This is your profile intro space. You can probably just put you are a cybersecurity consultant, you are in Canada, and you're in, your company name if you have one, or you're an independent consultant. Or you can make most of it by basically defining exactly who you are, by highlighting the success and achievements you've had as a cybersecurity consultant, by helping people understand why they should connect you or choose you over the previous profile they just checked you out on. Another great way of using your profile intro space is by letting your audience, your target audience, know what are the different types of services or solutions that you are able to cater to them. If you're trying to cater to small businesses, they are looking for, they're not looking for an expert or a master of a particular subject. They usually want somebody who can help them with few of the things. So if you actually have a wide portfolio and you are able to cater to few of their different business requirements, then use your LinkedIn profile to highlight it. This is another example of how you would be able to tell them. You can do IT managed service, cloud services, business development, SaaS, anything in, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, solution selling. Let them know what it is that you're able to cater to them on. Take a look at your profile and say, you know what? I would rather go with someone who has all these services and is able to cater to so many of my requirements or business needs for me. Another great way, and this is an example used by my own team, from my own team. So another great way of using your profile intro space is let them know about any promotions you have, anything that's like highlights you have for that month. Use it as the flavor of the month. Nobody is going to charge you for changing your profile intro space 20 times. In fact, every time you change your profile intro space, you can let your followers, your network know that you have something new. This is an option on LinkedIn that's provided to you. So you can easily just let your network know. If you're putting out a promotion out there, use this space to promote that content or that product or that highlight of the month that you would like to share with your network. If you're adding a new partner, for example, and you want to share it with your with your community or your network, this is a great way of actually sharing it out there. So this is another great example of how you can do that. Coming back to it. Now, the second thing that you can use on LinkedIn is, this is an easy way, and this is good for the first section that I talked about, the profile intro, that can be done by companies of every level. Individual sales account managers for MSPs that are mid-level or senior enterprise level MSPs, individual account managers can do that on their profile, because in the end of the day, you're still trying to connect with decision makers and you still want them to look you up and be able to understand what it is that you can bring to the table for them. So you can use it. Of course, you are going to talk about not your personal strengths, but the strengths that the company is able to bring for you. And then you can also talk about some of the things that you personally can deliver, the value you can deliver to them if they connect to you. So that's what you can use it for. The next thing that small businesses can use, and this is really strictly for something that the small businesses can use. So if you're a small business, small MSP, small business owner, this is a great way to actually show the services that you're providing to LinkedIn. When you click on it, you can basically, you go to this page and it'll allow you to showcase your service. You can choose as many services as you want, like 2 or more services from this page. When you add those services to the page, you are able to, you are able to create a search tag for yourself and for your company. So every time somebody is searching for that particular keyword, they are able to find you more easily and quickly. And then you can share it with your network. Instead of, this is a multimedia space. So instead of just putting content or text out there, it always helps to put, again, an example from my own company. So it always helps to actually put your entire, some images out there, something that really highlights the things that you are doing in few words and lots of pictures. And it really gets the attention of the people out there, your network and your target audience. The next thing that you talk about is your featured section. So I'm not going to go on a lot of details on the featured section, because what it really does is it allows you to, it allows you to make most of your features and sections like that. So anything that you do on your, anything that you're featuring, any partners, any promos, you can use, this is a multimedia space and you can do that. Now, so you can use this space to highlight all of those options. And the last part of it is adding a profile section. If you find that these sections are not enough, you have a lot of options that LinkedIn provides you, where you can put in your accomplishments, your additional information, your background, your skills, your certification, everything, and put that on your profile. So anyone that comes to your profile knows exactly what they are signing up for. And if you don't put it there and your competition is putting it, just imagine who's trying to make a decision would actually go and make the first call to. So keep that in mind as you create your profile page on LinkedIn. Now, the second thing that I want to talk to you about, The second thing I'm going to talk to you about is growing your network on LinkedIn. Why should that be relevant to you? Is because it's all about growing your target base. Whether you're talking to an audience, especially in Canada with Canadian anti-spam law and all the regulations around cold calling, you want to make sure you're able to connect with your audience. So reach out to your audience that have common interests like you. Do a search. You would do a search for the keywords that your potential target audience are probably going to look for. So IT buying is a keyword that you're probably going to do a search for because you want to connect with IT buyers or B2B IT buyers. That is the kind of groups that you're looking for. For Xeo Marketing, our audiences are technology companies and MSPs and channel partners. So we do a search using the word Canadian channel partners or channel partners. When you do the search, you're able to find all the groups that are listed for that, for those keywords. You can join those groups. And here's the best part. When you join a group, you're able to see all the members of the group and you're able to message directly to them. You're able to connect directly with them and message directly to them. You have a limitation of how many messages you're able to send in a day. But the best part is this is an easy way for you to connect with your target audience and contact them and let them know about your services and solutions and add them to your network so that next time when you put some content out on your own page or on your LinkedIn page or you share an update on your profile, the people that you're trying to target who are now added to your network are able to see that content as well. So that is the value that you bring. Another way is, how do you actually contact them? This example that I have, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is going to play. This is really interesting for me. I get maybe about 20, 30 requests, maybe even more a day in terms of people wanting to connect to me. And a lot of time I skim through it. If I know someone really well, I will connect. If I find someone is going to be useful to add to my network, I may connect. But I usually take my time. I will wait around. I will check out the profile and I'll do that. However, and a lot of time I may even skip that because you don't always have time to do that. However, I found this particular request very interesting because this was a request I received from someone that sent me a video. And what I liked about it, I'm going to try and see if I can play this. If not, we can... Okay, you know what? It takes a lot of time. So let's just skip that for now. So I'm just going to tell you what was in the video. It was not just an intro video. He talked about himself, but he started by talking about, Toronto, which is where I'm based. He started talking about, hey, I see you're based out of Toronto. Right away, that caught my attention because I thought, okay, it's not just some random video or a random connect message. It was personalized, and it does not have to be a video, though I really appreciated the video. And I actually had a very interesting video from one of my peers, which I wanted to share as well, but for some reason I couldn't load it into my presentation. So you can send video messages now, and people seem to react better to a video message than they do to a text message. So talk to them, personalize it, let them know that there is a person behind. Especially in pandemic, we are so constricted, we are so restricted in the four walls inside our house. Great to see another friendly face and to just talk to them. So this gentleman over here, Miles Walker, he mentioned about his company. I actually went and checked out his company, and I really don't have the time. For those of you who know me, like my schedule is super crazy. I know a lot of you are trying to get onto my schedule, and it's always busy. So for me to take that time out and check out somebody's company just because they sent me a video was a really good thing, as far as I can tell for this person. He also mentioned the fact that, okay, you are an AI influencer. So he had really gone through my profile. He had really taken time to get to know me, and he had sent me the message. Needless to say, not only did I connect with him, I went and checked out his company. I do have plans on helping them out in the near future. It is an AI company, so I'll be more than happy to help them out. But I also requested that I share his video on this presentation because this to me was something unique, something different, something that was personalized and customized so that the person who's listening to it does not feel that this is another random message and skips it. So this is a great way of actually reaching out to the people that, that are basically your top target audience or your target customer. Now this, even though I mentioned it under the small business section, I really want to let you know that this is not just for small businesses. This is something that you can use for your enterprise level clients. You can use especially for your enterprise level clients or your mid-level businesses as well, because in the end of the day, they are all trying to see they don't like to be sold to, but they do want to buy. They do want solutions that will help them with their pain points. So they are looking for options out there. And if you make an impression on them, which is different, which is unique, they are bound to connect with you and talk to you. In the pandemic, if you do different, it'll get you a better attention than it would if you were to just make another cold call or send another email, which is very likely will just go into their mailbox, into their junk folder. The next thing that we talk about is contribute your expertise. Besides joining your groups and things like that, you can contribute on your expertise by engaging in group chats and forums. Okay. My bad. So I skipped the entire slide, but actually let me see if I can go back. Okay. So you can contribute to expertise by engaging group chats and forums. I'm not sure how many of you actually were attending Jay McBain's presentation just a while back. I'll tell you this. When I see Jay's comments and I look through all the people responding to him, I read not only his comments, I also read the comments from people responding to him, because it really helps me understand the value each of those clients are actually bringing to the table. What do they understand about the industry? How valuable are they for me and my business? That is something I'm able to actually ascertain just by reading what they're commenting on and what kind of thought leaders they work with. Present your expertise. If your target audience is out there looking for solutions, looking for a way to elevate their pain points, let them know that you have the solution they need, not directly by telling it, but by showing it. If you are providing expert comments, they know that you know your business and that you are the one they need to talk to once this is done. The next channel that I want to recommend to you is Facebook. Why Facebook? Like I said, Facebook has 18 billion users. I also find that Facebook, this business, it's very cost, especially for the small businesses. Facebook has very cost-effective tools that you can use to drive leads. What are some of those tools you can use? Facebook, first of all, some of them that you can use, there are tools that you can use to optimize your page, like your keyword searches, your keywords that you can use to create your business profile, by using images and videos to tell a story. Using Facebook is all about creating that personal impact. And why Facebook has become more important right now is because, people have to spend. I mean, I know we have a lot of North American audience and some, European and international audience on the call today. But of course, this is a Canadian channel partner presentation, and I am talking to my Canadian audience. So we all know all the restrictions we have right now. It's not that we can get up and go out there. So the time we have been spending on Facebook, and remember that report I told you, 43% is average in North America, but the time that Canadians are spending, actually almost 83% more year over year. That is significant. And I'm talking about 2020 over 2019, not 2021. So that is a significant increase of time that people are spending on things like Facebook. Yes, it gives you a personal connection. It makes you feel that you're still connected, that there is still a world out there, even if you are in a lockdown. Use that and leverage that to connect on a personal level with your target audience. Use your images and videos to tell a story. Use pinned posts to feature your sections and highlight your key products and promotions. Improve the engagement of your post and get more people to like it. And lastly, you get insights to improve the performance of your page. So that's something that you are able to do using Facebook. The next thing, and there are a few other tips over here, messengers and WhatsApp. The things that you can do with Messenger and WhatsApp, you can leverage Facebook communities and groups to drive brand awareness and get warm leads. And one of the things, I would not recommend LinkedIn paid ads to small, medium businesses. I would suggest that if you're an enterprise level client, that you do work with LinkedIn paid ads. However, if you're small, medium businesses, then I would recommend that you work with Facebook paid ads. You are bound to get better return on investment than what you would get on LinkedIn. In fact, I would think that you investing on a LinkedIn ad is going to be a waste of your money. So do not spend your time and energy on LinkedIn ads, paid ads. Everything else, yeah, LinkedIn is great. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about in terms of social media channels are social communities. Social communities are growing really tremendously. Reddit, as you may have heard recently, there was the whole investment mania that swept Reddit. Reddit has 100,000 plus communities. It has 350 monthly visitors and 44% daily user growth year over year. If that is not enough, you should know that most of the conversations, this is a very easy way of trying to find, very, very qualified leads. Subscribe to this right subreddits or sub-communities. Quora is another community that we would strongly recommend. These are the places where people actually go over there to get information and they really ask for questions. It is a best free source to get qualified B2B leads. Here are some of the examples, live examples. And as you can see, these are examples from a couple of days ago. People are asking questions like, what are the best VoIP service for small, medium-sized business? If you look at that question and if you look up the company that's asking that question, that is actually a small, medium company. It's a medium company that's looking for somewhere around 20 seats. If you look up at each of these questions between Quora and Reddit, you will find that it is a huge source of information where people are asking, they are looking for guidance. And this is the time when you can go out there and help them understand why they need to work with you, provide them with solution so proactively, so they will choose you over any of your competition when they are ready to make a decision. This could be a early buying stage, but when I start defining different stages of the buying cycle, I find that when people talk on Facebook and LinkedIn groups, they are in their early buying stage, but when they are almost ready to buy, that's when they start asking questions on Quora and Reddit, because they're really looking for comparing different options, looking at feature sets, and they find that Quora and Reddit have more technical audience and technical responses. So that's where they go. And this is all about B2B subreddit communities and B2B audiences that you're trying to target. So these are all B2B audiences that you're trying to target. Another great way of using your social communities is to get guidance or peer support. So here's an example. This is an example of how you are able to get a peer support. So SharePoint internal to external. This is an example of somebody asking about assistance in terms of how to do something. And if you can see from the comments below, they walk him through the process and help him out in terms of he's able to, get the result that he wants for his client. So a great way of using the platform is also to get peer recommendations or guidance, especially if you're new in business or you've been in business and you kind of face a problem that you've never been that you've never had to deal with in the past. So it doesn't hurt to get some community. It's a huge community of so many, I think over 350,000 users. So you are I'm talking about the subreddit, that you are able to get guidance from. And then you take those guidance, take it obviously with a grain of salt and work through those problems by yourself. So that's another great way of doing it. Now, moving on from the social media marketing, the next thing I want to talk about, and I feel like Jay kind of stole my light on this just because he came a minute before my presentation and he talked about B2B marketplace. But honestly, B2B marketplace is a growing trend. If you have not heard about it, then you're already missing the boat. And if you are, then you are ahead of your game. B2B marketplaces that I want to talk about, first one that comes to mind is for your community, for the IT MSP and the telecom reseller community, is Clutch. I'm talking about small business over here for now. This is a company, Clutch is more like, it started more as a directory, but what Clutch allows you to do is Clutch allows businesses to find IT MSPs by country, zip codes, their budgets, their rates, and then they are able to go through each of the listed company and decide who they want to work with. In terms of, when they are making a selection, they want to see who they want to work with. Is this going to be the best MSP that I can work with? What are options available to me in terms of proximity? So when small businesses, medium, regional businesses are looking for, local MSPs, Clutch provides a great way for them to find you. Another thing I found very interesting is in Clutch is if you don't have a LinkedIn profile and you do a Google search on IT MSPs or certain keywords, Clutch profiles pop up faster than anything else, even your own company. Even if you're doing a search for your own company's name, Clutch profiles tend to pop up faster. LinkedIn is the best search option, and then Clutch has the second best search option, especially in the IT community. So it doesn't hurt, even if you don't think it's going to be worth your while. All you need to do is go onto this website, create a profile. It should take you 10 minutes or less to put in the details that they are asking. They basically ask for your company name, your website, what it is that you are selling, different options that you want to include in your profile. And that's about it. If you really want to make most of it, then get some customer reviews, get added to some customer reviews. Clutch will announce you as winners of various awards throughout the year. And those awards will get you additional traction and PR. And this is all free of cost. So you don't actually have to pay anything to be a part of this community. And you get leads. We get a lot of leads from this. which we use for so we have all our MSPs that work with us, all the companies that work with us as a marketing company, we have them registered over here. We, of course, maintain their profile. We make sure that it's optimized for search. So we have them created over here, and we've optimized it. So we get steady requests of leads for them on their behalf that we send and pass on to them all the time. So this is another great way of actually using it. Now, the other thing that you can do is Fiverr. Fiverr is another great way if you're a small company. So actually put Fiverr as the first option because Fiverr caters mostly to micro small businesses and Clutch caters to small medium businesses. Fiverr actually has all these options where you can put this is a multimedia ad. You're able to drive the lead. Of course, you put like basic information to start with. And then once the client comes in or you hook them in, then you start talking to them about everything that they require. So this is more someone trying to cater to a micro businesses, mom, pop shops, convenience stores, those kind of ideas. So those are the kind of businesses. If that is who you want to target, then this is definitely a great B2B marketplace to be at. Now, another thing I want to mention over here, as you may have heard from Jay's presentation as well, B2B marketplaces are growing. Again, there is no cost for you to actually be part of these platforms. So why not add your profile? If nothing else, you get a better searchability factor. So why not add your profiles to these B2B places and make the most of it, whatever you can get out of it. Okay. Another way of doing and this one is my favorite actually, because this is from our very own Canadian company, and it's been my favorite since they've been there. I was in a different lifetime and when Vendesta started, but I thought this was really cool. So Vendesta is one of the best B2B platforms that I've come across for now. Why Vendesta? Vendesta caters to medium as well as enterprise options. So if you go through Vendesta, it does have an enterprise option, and I would strongly recommend that if you are a mid to enterprise level MSP, then get into Vendesta and then ask them for different options, and they should be able to provide that. I've been following Vendesta for a while. Like I said, they are a Canadian company. As a Canadian entrepreneur myself, I strongly believe in promoting our Canadian, providers and entrepreneurs as well. I believe that Vendesta has a very cool platform that is useful, and that is something that you can make most of. So Vendesta is another platform. Some of the things you can do with Vendesta, again, it has multimedia options. You can go from, and if you go through it, you will see that these are Google, this is Office, Microsoft Office that has presence on Vendesta. So it is definitely not small businesses that Vendesta is catering to. It's definitely catering to mid to enterprise level solutions. So these are from Google, the actual company, right? Like it's not a Google reseller that's putting this ad out there. So Vendesta has like huge solutions, and these are some examples of some Google resellers that have put the solution out there as well with galleries and things like that. So Vendesta is one of the other marketplace that you can check out and that you can register with. And finally, if you have pure enterprise play, we have to talk about App Market or App Direct. App Direct was almost going to be a part of this event, but I still feel that it's very important that we talk about App Direct because it is one of the fastest growing subscription-based B2B marketplace platform or application, commerce platform. I would like to call it a commerce platform. That's what App Direct is. If you haven't already checked it out, then check it out. If you are into enterprise MSP level business, these are the places that you can be on. You can create profiles for your businesses. A lot of these platforms are free. Some have certain paid options. Check them out because this is where the world is going, especially in the pandemic where you are not able to have those conversations, where you're not able to walk over to your next door office assistant and talk about what the best solutions are. You're looking for online reviews. You're looking for places where you can actually get that input from. So creating a presence on B2B marketplace is and should be of a lot of value for you. The next thing I'm going to touch base on real quickly is this is one of the virtual conferences. I see that there is a lot more interaction in our conference. I would like to think that this is because my Xeo team is really very effective. But the fact is that a lot of virtual conferences that I've been on, I find that people join the conferences and then they do not interact in those conferences. Virtual conferences, treat them exactly like you would treat an on-site conference. If you're going to be a part of the conference, engage with the audience there. Whether you're on-site or virtual, talk to your vendors, talk to your sponsors, go to their booths, understand what they are trying to, what pain points they can help you alleviate. If you are going to be a part of a conference where you're going as a potential, you're trying to find leads, then you initiate those conversations with your target audience. Talk to your target audience, find out what they want, who is just initiate a conversation. If you were in an on-site conference, would you not walk to a person at a bar and just say, hey, you know what? I'm so-and-so. Here's my business card. What business are you in? Do the same thing in the virtual conference. Make most of it. Engaging, whether you're online or on-site, is really important. Virtual conferences can be a boon right now because you do not know how long this lockdown is going to last. With all kinds of new strains coming in, new streams of viruses coming in, you don't know what's going to happen next. So don't underestimate the power of virtual conferences. If you do not engage, if you do not go out there and create that connection, obviously the customer themselves are going to be hesitant as well, right? So you also have to take some initiative. And and if you're going in as a customer, then I would strongly recommend that you make initiative from both ends, as a buyer as well as a seller. Try to connect with the audience that are on the booths. The next two things that I'm going to talk about. Now, these are the top 3 things that work very well in the small business segment. The next 2 things are actually something that I recommend for medium segments. There are elements for the top three activities that medium segment can make most of as well. But email marketing and cold calling is something that will work well for any company that actually has a database and has some level of resources or support that they are able to drive. Now, these are the kind of companies that are able to, you have a database, go out, reach out to your own database, whether it's through email marketing or cold calling, make sure you're following your CASL or your Canadian anti-spam law. I don't want you to think that, great, Monali, great solution, let me just go spam on email. If you want to know what kind of laws apply to you, download some of our content from our blog site that talks about the Canadian anti-spam law. We've got all the details, instructions on how you can ensure that you're managing your Canadian anti-spam law and regulation and you are compliant to it. So download that. But email marketing is going to work right now. It's going to work if you have a following. It will not work if you're just spamming people's inbox, because almost 50-60% of your email is going to go into their spam folder. So don't do that. Whether you're in Canada or not, don't do that, because it's just a waste of your energy and your resources and effort. So build a strong audience that you can then, reach out to via email and cold calling. The last thing I'm going to talk about is content marketing. Why content marketing? If you are in the enterprise segment, what you really want to be doing is you want to be connecting and controlling the early buying stages of your target. If you're buying a fridge, for example, it's a very simple thing. You become aware of hey, my refrigerator broke. I need a fridge. I'm going to go check out, the options that are available to me. What are the features out there? I'm going to validate the cost versus features, the price, the value, and I'm going to take an action. But when you talk about technology, there is a new buying stage that most people tend to skip, and that is the education segment. When you hear about technology, you don't first become aware of a pain point. You don't know you want SD-WAN, or you don't know you want AI, or you have a pain point that AI is able to address for you, or IoT is able to address for you. What you do become aware of is the buzzword that is SD-WAN, or a buzzword that is artificial intelligence. And you hear that on your social media, on podcasts, on every, options that you come across. Okay, at that time, what you want to do as a buyer, what most buyers want to do is they want to educate themselves. They want to understand what this technology is all about before they try and see if it can apply to their business or to their what the business application would be. And most of the buyer's journey, 70% of the buyer's journey is digital. And what that means, especially given the current scenario, what that means is they do not go out and say, hey, Mark, my representative from X, Y, and Z company, can you tell me about SD-WAN? No CIO, no one at the position of power, nobody at a position of decision making is going to want to appear as not knowledgeable in what they are trying to buy. I mean, forget people in any kind of position. If you're going out there and trying to buy something, would you really want to go to the shopkeeper and let him know that you're absolutely ignorant, knowing that this is not going to be the best way, like the best negotiation option? The same business world as well, what applies in the consumer world. So what is going to actually happen is they are going to educate themselves. And when they are in this stage of educating themselves on a particular technology, their mind is like a white canvas, a blank canvas. You can program them to look for features and solutions and value that your particular product brings to the table. So make sure you have the right content. And you, like before, you can connect with them, educate them, engage with the target audience by placing the right content in front of the right people at the right time. Because when they are getting programmed on new technology, you want to let them know subliminally, you want to program them into looking for the features that you want them to look for. And that is how you can build trust and credibility with your target audience. Give them what they need. Give them, food for their thoughts. Give them the content that will help themselves on different aspects of the new technology. And when they are ready to buy, that is when they want to connect with you. So this is something that is very strongly applicable in the enterprise segment. Now, I know we are running out of time, so I'm going to quickly go through a couple of things. How to calculate the lead gen budget. A lead gen budget is usually considered 2 to 5% of customer lifetime value. What is a customer lifetime value? It's really simple. Customer lifetime value is the net sale value of or revenue that you get from a client times the interactions that you will get from a client. So let's say I'm going to take a very simple example. You want to sell a $30 phone line, and the potential volume or the seats you can get from that client is, it's a small business, it's an enterprise business, 100 seats. It's a small business, 10 seats. It's a medium business, 50 seats. Okay, let's go with 10 seats. It'll be easier for me to do the math. So 30 times 10, that's 300. And you then talk about what is an average retention time for this customer. So on an average, if a customer buys a phone from you, they're most likely to keep it at least for a year. They're going to stay your customer for a year. Over that 1 year, you may be able to sell other things to them, but when you calculate the lifetime value, you take the minimum lifetime value because you want to calculate the minimum budget you want to spend to get that one client. So we're not taking into consideration the handsets you'll be able to sell, the headsets and speakers and all those things. Just the average retention period. So 30 times 10 times 12, that is $3,600. 2 to 5% of that is what you need to spend. How do you know your campaign is working? What is your measure of success? As long as you're able to drive and keep that revenue, like spend less than the amount that your customer is, bring to the table. As long as you're able to spend within 2 to 5% and you're aiming and you're defining your measures, your success ratio, that should be a pretty good measure for you. Now I'm going to talk about the last thing. Of course, this presentation is all about what is the most effective lead gen strategy. And my marketing manager yesterday, he looked at my presentation and he said, Monali, one thing we're missing about is an integrated approach. Yes, each of these strategies that I'm recommending are very powerful and effective on its own. But what would be really effective and what would really work well is when you combine these strategies. Of course, I may have mentioned it throughout the presentation, but I was not very clear on it. So let me repeat this. When you do social media, it feeds into email marketing. It gives you the contacts you need, the emails you need, so you can go back and send them email. It actually feeds into qualified calls. It gives you, like, say, for virtual conferences, for example, it will allow you to emails and those phone calls that you are then able to reach out to, right? email marketing and qualified calling, if you're doing good content marketing, that again feeds back into email marketing and qualified calling. Use your social media to promote your content. Use your virtual conferences to connect with people that are actually that can actually, to call up people. Change your cold calling into a qualified calling. You're no longer calling somebody who's stranger. You've already met them at a virtual conference. You know they have a requirement. So what is the best approach for the strategies today is when you can integrate various platforms and you can feed from one platform and direct the content from one platform over to another. So that's a holistic approach that you can take in basically driving the lead gen strategies. I'm going to strongly recommend, come and talk to me. I know I was rushing through a lot of these slides, but please come and talk to us on our Xeo booth or the Canadian Channel Partner booth. If you have any questions around this, or if you need any of the directions in terms of how you are able to do some of these activities without investing any or minimum budget, so to say. So with that, I'm going to actually share the information back to Ruben, to Kancha. Kancha, thank you.